Medieval Europe. Kind of a weird place to live. A time where you could accuse your neighbor of being a witch, throw your shit out in the street, and watch said neighbor be hung because, well, she's a witch. All in the same weekend. You want to know what else medieval Europe had? Many super bad and deadly diseases. I mean, we had smallpox epidemics, the plague of Justinian, and of course, the very famous and popular one, the Black Death. But we're not going to be talking about any of those today. No. We are going to discuss the absolute tragedy, the absolute absurdity that was the Dancing Plague. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the Dancing Plague of 1518. Yes, this happened multiple times. I guess they had nothing better to do back then. And I am not talking about no little dance party. These people were literally dancing until they were dead. But let's take it back a bit to a little city called Strasbourg. And as most stories do, it all started with a girl. And this girl's name was Frau Trophia. A lovely woman. I think. I don't actually know her. But I mean, just look at her. Anyways, on a random day in July, this lovely German lady stepped out of her house and just started busting a move. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. She was dancing up them streets all day. And eventually she did stop to get some sleep, but that was after hours and hours of dancing. And you want to know what she did when she woke up? She started throwing it back. Again. And this time her feet were getting all bloody and stuff. Something was different about day 2 though. Frau Trophia began to obtain some disciples to join her in dance. She managed to rally a total of 30 troops as they joined to dance the night away. If you thought 30 people randomly dancing was a lot, then you're in for some bigger numbers. Wow. This girl Frau had crowds of people moving it on the dance floor. Estimates of 400 people affected by this contagious disease. The city members, rightfully confused on why their subjects were dancing in the street with no beat, didn't really know what to do. And this was really starting to become a problem because in late July, early August, nearly 11 people a day were dying from this disease. Imagine that's how you go out. That is such a sad way to die, especially in medieval times. But nonetheless, the people in charge went back to the drawing board and started scheming up ways on how to fight this dancing mania. So like I said earlier, them city council members had no clue what to do. So naturally, they got some of the most intelligent, most prestigious physicians that the medieval Europeans could find. These boys diagnosed the crowd of dancing maniacs with a case of hot blood. Honestly, not even a bad diagnosis for medieval times. And because it was medieval times, they originally tried the classic bloodletting method, but there was one small problem. These people couldn't sit still. So instead, they thought of the next best thing. Hiring professional musicians and dancers to get this party bumping. Pickle Peter Piper type shit. The vibes there must have been electric. And as one could imagine, hiring professional DJs to attend this party did not get these people to stop dancing. In fact, I'd argue that this made the problem even worse. The people started dancing even faster than before. I don't know what these people were thinking. And because they tried everything in their power to no avail, they realized they were not dealing with a simple case of hot blood. No, they were obviously dealing with a curse from God. The city members needed to make God happy, and they realized that the city of Strasbourg was full of sin. So naturally, they started to ban everything. No brothels, no gambling, what? And they even went as far as to ban music and dancing entirely. 30 whole shillings if you got caught moving your feet to a beat. In this economy, this procedure also did not do the trick. Who could imagine? They needed something better, something a little more holier. The city of Strasbourg turned to the heavens for some help and called upon Saint Vitus to help cure them of this plague. When simple prayer didn't work, they decided to round up these dancers into a wagon and take them all the way up to a mountain so they can worship a shrine of Saint Vitus. The dancers continued to dance and drop from exhaustion. But this time priests were giving them little crosses and red shoes oiled up with holy oil, and It worked. Just like that. The whole time they just needed some of that good old holy oil. God truly does work in mysterious ways. And okay, I shouldn't say just like that. It did take a couple of days for the situation to get sorted out. But soon later, the dancing mania came to an end. And the people later named it St. Vitus's Dance. 10 years after the plague of dancing ended, a physician named Paracelsus went down to Strasbourg to diagnose what the actually happened. He came up with two conclusions. One of them was it was involuntary movement, which is basically like a reflex. The other thing he concluded was that it was those damn women. He tried to paint the lovely Frau Trophia as a rebellious devil, and all she wanted to do was avoid her womanly duties. Y'all don't know her like I do. She would never do that. You know, those were some interesting theories, Paracelsus. Let's see if they hold up. Historians still don't know exactly what caused this, but they have some theories. The most popular and accepted answer is that this was just a simple case of mass hysteria. So this means it wasn't spread by any real pathogens, obviously. And it was actually spread on psychological and social factors that were going on during that time, aka extreme stress. And okay, this makes sense. I mean, the city of Strasbourg was under extreme famine, ongoing disease outbreaks, and of course, fear of divine punishment. But I don't know, I feel like when they got to the point of almost dying, their brain would have like snapped out of it and turned to survival mode. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a physician. Other theories that are less popular in the scientific community are things like food poisoning from a mold on bread. And this is pretty feasible, I could see this. And of course, there always is the possibility that this was a divine curse put upon the sinners of the city. So, what do you guys think? Was it truly a case of mass hysteria? Or was there something a little more supernatural going on? I don't know, man. It did stop after they sought religious treatment. But nonetheless, no matter what caused this disease, I think we can all agree this is one of the strangest phenomenons in history. With that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, maybe even leave a like. I don't want a job. And yeah, Poppy Bluebird out of the booth. Praise Jesus.